A Republican-led committee in the House is trying to impeach a member of the president's cabinet over an influx of migrants at the border. The panel held a hearing Tuesday to advance articles of impeachment against DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Our congressional correspondent Nikole Killion takes us into the proceedings.
We cannot allow this man to remain in office any longer. The time for accountability is now.
The head of the House Homeland Security Committee said Republicans had no other choice but to bring forth articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, claiming a dereliction of duty at the U.S.-Mexico border.
You don't want solutions, you just want politics.
Democrats accuse the GOP-led panel of having no evidence of high crimes and misdemeanors.
The sham impeachment of Secretary Mayorkas is a baseless political stunt.
The articles include willful and systemic refusal to comply with the law and breach of public trust. They allege the secretary obstructed congressional oversight and failed to rein in record migrant crossings, which topped 10,000 per day last month. Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez represents Eagle Pass at the epicenter.
Why you do think the secretary's impeachment is warranted?
It is very clear that whatever DHS is doing, they need to do something different.
Mayorkas defended the Biden administration's policies, noting it has removed, returned, or expelled more migrants in 3 years than the Trump administration.
All I can do. Just give me the power.
Today, President Biden said there is nothing more he can do through executive action and implored Congress to pass a border security deal. But House Speaker Mike Johnson reiterated any potential compromise in the Senate may be dead on arrival.
And the president can take executive authority immediately, and he's pretending as though he does not know that. It's outrageous.
And Nikole Killion joins me now from Capitol Hill. So on that question of the legislation, Nikole, are House Republicans planning to present an alternative to what the Senate is trying to work out? Or because the Speaker has said that's DOA, so what's their plan B in the House?
Yeah, well, I think the Speaker has made clear that House Republicans passed a border security package months ago, last year, and so they really believe that the Senate should take that up instead. And, you know, that is really kind of the quandary that both the Senate and House find themselves in, because even after all of these negotiations, if ultimately a compromise package emerges from the Senate, as you pointed out, you know, the Speaker has made clear it may not get a lot of play in the House, and that is because many members do feel that stricter provisions like what they passed in their package is what should be guiding this process. And while some components of those stricter provisions may be a part of this eventual deal, and it certainly does tighten up the asylum process, again, it doesn't go far enough for some House Republicans who want to see even more stricter provisions taken. So that really is kind of the issue at hand, and that is why you are hearing Speaker Johnson now saying, well, you know, we believe that this is up to the president, that he should use executive action. They would like to see the president roll back policies to those of the Trump administration, like remain in Mexico and catch and release, but that's not going to happen with a Democratic president. Obviously, you know, Biden continues to push for this border deal, which again is tied to larger foreign aid funding.
Let me ask you about another piece of bipartisan legislation. Speaker Johnson says he plans to bring a tax bill, which has support from both parties, to the floor soon. What do we know about that?
Well, this is basically a bill, as you mentioned, a bipartisan bill, a bicameral bill as well, in the sense that it was crafted both in the House and Senate, that would expand the child tax credit and would also expand business tax benefits. And this is something that both Chairman Jason Neal of the House Ways and Means Committee, as well as Senator Ron Wyden of the Senate Finance Committee, have really been pushing, especially now that tax filing season is underway. So the Speaker has has indicated or seems to suggest that he's going to move forward with this package. But now you have members of his conference once again trying to add some more tax provisions into this, most notably some state and local tax deductions, otherwise known as SALT, which is something many New York delegation members and Northeast delegation members would like to see as part of this package. Whether or not it will move forward with some additions kind of remains to be seen. But right now, this package is kind of tenuous at best in terms of whether or not it will proceed based on some of these concerns and objections that have been raised.
Two pieces of bipartisan work hanging in the balance. Nikole Killion on Capitol Hill. Thanks very much for the update, Nikole.